Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the One Hub Racing Talk Show, our 10th episode, Jono. So we're getting on a bit in terms of these late night talk shows, but we've never run out of things to say. It's been a fantastic season so far, and a much needed Christmas break. But we are back racing this week, and a track, Jono, that you've always had some pretty good results at, Britain.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed driving Silverstone, as I think pretty much all the drivers do. We always get good racing, and it's just a proper race circuit, Silverstone. It's an old classic, been altered over the years, of course, but I still think it's still got all those great corners that we all love to drive, Copse and Maggotts and Beckett's, and yeah, brilliant circuit, and it delivered pretty good racing again on Friday, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree. I remember back in season 10, there was a last lap decider in the top tier at that time, which was Pinnacle between, I think, was it Louis and B-Staff, and you were treated to the same. We'll come to that in a minute, but how excited for you were when Don Cool and Sam were heading into Stowe Corner, last lap, everything to play for.
Yeah, that finale was amazing. There's so many overtaking opportunities through the lap, especially at the end of the lap as well. So it's sort of one of those tracks where you don't really know whether leading into the last lap is a good thing or not. I think if you're in slipstream range on the final lap, it's possibly even better to be in P2. And yeah, going into the final few corners, we had no idea who was going to win, and they didn't have any idea either. So yeah, it was pretty thrilling end to that race.
Alrighty, we're going to have some drivers join us shortly, but first of all, we'll, as always, recap the races that happened on Friday. As I said, this was Britain Silverstone that we headed to, and it's fantastic to have three great races. I ended up commentating on two of them, the podium and the pinnacle. But to start with, obviously, the podium tier at 7 p.m., round 10, so the halfway point of the season-ish. And CXY, he continued where he left off in 2018, Jono, another pole position. Obviously, this is only his third race, I believe, joined in France. He was on the waiting list for ages, and seems like it was worth the wait.
Yeah, it definitely was. He was half a second clear, I think it was, and it was on the in the damp conditions as well on the intermediate tyres. So he's proved he can do it in all conditions. So he looks like he's one to fear when it comes to qualifying for the other drivers.
Yeah, definitely put himself up there in one of the top drivers in the tier, which I'm sure they'll all relish. Alrighty, so as we go down the order, Jorit, impressive from him again. He's been on a run of good results, and he's continued that into this year. Belfry Dweller, we know he's got the pace. Will his connection and a racecraft help him to unleash it? But Jonas and Knowles making up the top 5. Danestar only in 6th. Jono, what's going on with the Red Bull driver at the moment? The last 3 races since France, since CXY joined, he just seems to have lost his mojo.
Yeah, he just seems to have gone off the boil a bit. And hope for his sake he can sort of get on top of it and turn it round, because there's sort of a bit of talk, isn't there, amongst some of the drivers I've seen in the chats. You know, as Dane's just sort of lost it, is he going to bottle it and blow it from here? And maybe the pressure is getting to him a little bit, but you know, it's still, in the scale of things, been a good season, obviously, up to this point. And, you know, I'm sure he's got the speed, it hasn't suddenly disappeared. He'll turn it round, but it will be a little bit concerning for him if it carries on this way.
Awesome. Hello to everyone watching, by the way. Thank you for joining us. This is, of course, One Hub Racing, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. All right, podium tier. Jono, the start of the race, we had a car that was disqualified, the Mercedes of Nick, in qualifying. He says it wasn't his fault. It was a game mistake. And then he started the race with his nose cone in the pit wall. And obviously I turned the stream to that because it was such a strange event, and Sean was, you know, similarly bemused as to what was going on. And then when the lights went out, he simply reversed it and then started his race. The strangest start I've ever seen for a car.
Yeah, that was bizarre. I'm just watching it again now and having a bit of a laugh. You can't help but laugh. It's obviously gutting for Nick, but it's just, you just have to think, what on earth is going on sometimes on this game. And obviously, yeah, really, really strange. We've all heard of drivers missing their pit box, their grid position from time to time, but to face it straight into the wall it's a different thing entirely. But luckily for him, he was able to back it out and continue. But that was a very, very strange incident indeed.
Obviously, he was starting at the back, so perhaps didn't cost him too much time, but definitely avoided any carnage that happened. It was a relatively clean start. Danestar seemed to get away brilliantly into lead. Obviously, we missed it, but CXY dropped down, and then this battle between these top guys just went on and on and on, lap after lap, and it was fantastic to watch. And CXY finally got back into second place, and then he half spun it. Which I know he'll be bitterly disappointed all the way down to 10th position from that mistake. And Jorrit into the lead. Bothy Dweller then had an incident and a disconnection, so he was put out of it almost. And after all the leaders pitted, you got this group of Razor, Nick, Gazer, and to somewhat Jamie, the top four, who all started on that median compound, and after 12, 13 laps, they're still within DRS, and that's so exciting to see, not just at the start of the race, but from start to finish, every lap you've got a group of cars within DRS range of each other.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant, as you say, with that initial bunch breaking away, and then when they pitted, lap 13, there's sort of 4.5 seconds between Razor and Jamie in fourth on those mediums. And they were just absolutely duking it out, weren't they, battling? And it's just one of those tracks where you can just sort of take different lines through the corners. Obviously, slipstream helps you out in DRS zones. So even if you haven't quite got the pace of the car ahead, perhaps you can still stick with them and use your ERS and what have you to create overtaking opportunities.
And as the pit stops kind of unfolded, Jorrit, he played it perfectly when he got back into the lead after the start, and CXY recovered well, but it was Danestar on those hard tires trying to fend off against the cars behind, but eventually Jorrit, CXY, and Jonas made up the podium. Nick recovered from that strange start to finish in fourth position, and Danestar made up the top five. His teammate just behind in sixth, Ols seventh, Razor eighth. So it was a good race from him in terms of he was really battling all the way through, was Razor. So that was good to see. Bothy Dweller in ninth, and Stevie rounds out the top 10. Jamie finished just outside the points 11 after that incident with Bothy Dweller. But overall, me and Sean were ecstatic with that race. We really enjoyed it, and when you finish commentary, Jono, and you think that was just such a good race, it makes it even more satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. You had things to look at all the way through, from the front to the back, pretty much, didn't you? And but yeah, Jorrit once again came away with the victory, and we all talked earlier on in the season about he had all the pace, but the strategy wasn't there. But he's rectified that now, hasn't he? Well and truly, and he's now cemented himself in those drivers who are capable of winning week in, week out.
Definitely. All right, your tier, Jono, the pinnacle tier. Matt took pole position. Good result from him. Donkor in second, Sam in third. Obviously, championship rival Reflo was missing this one. Fourth was down in eighth position, so it wasn't looking too pretty. And at the start, Donkor had that moment with Sam, which kind of caused an absolute carnage effect. Farth ended up retiring. Somehow Donkor escaped that without any damage. And it's not the first time this season, Jono, where we've seen this tier have this sort of, pile up, a knock-on effect in a sense where, a car and the cars are so bunched up behind that they just all seem to get involved.
Yeah, it was just a bit of chaos again. Not quite as bad as we have seen. At least we've got a bit of runoff at Silverstone to get away with it. But the two main drivers involved, Donkor and Sam, it looked like at the front. Bit of contact between those two, which is in the stewards, I believe, to be looked at. But yeah, others did get a bit tangled up in that as well. But luckily, Sam was able to come away still in P2, and Donkor, although it dropped him down the field, he got away relatively unscathed and was able to fight back pretty well, particularly with the safety car coming out as well, just a lap or so later, or just a half a lap later.
And as the lap unfolded, the safety car came out, which is always exciting to see. Opens up some different strategy options, and we saw a hard tire choice for Chopper, which in the end of the race got in third position. So he's up for the driver of the day vote. I think that was a storming drive on those hard tires to take it to the podium.
Yeah, it was an amazing drive. We mentioned in commentary that he was surely going to be in there with the driver of the day nominations, and I think he'd personally deserve it. And yeah, it was a great drive and defended really well at the end on the hard tyres as well. They'd done a lot of laps, but he still managed to make it work and obviously picked up a great result from that. The hard tyres didn't have that much grip, and some other drivers across the tiers looked to struggle a little bit on them, but Chopper able to get a good result out of it.
Definitely, and as the race went on, obviously the two Ferraris had a battle. Don Cool actually went for the two-stop, pitting under that safety car, and really showed his pace and overtaking maneuvers. We're going to speak to him in a little bit, but obviously Silverstone being such a long pit lane, that anything other than a two-stop really does hurt you around here, but just shows you his blistering pace. Last lap around the outside of Stowe, I believe, inside to next corner. Amazing end to the race.
Yeah, amazing end to the race. Both of them wanted it so badly. Don Crusoe was desperate for the win. Sam was desperate to try and fend him off as well as they went side by side. Obviously, it was made possible by the safety car. It's definitely bailed out all those drivers who were involved in that lap one chaos. But Donkel, very, very quick on those soft tyres, able to close the gap to Sam and went side by side through those last few corners. A little bit of contact, but Donkel was able to just about come away in front and win it by just half a second, I think it was, across the line.
It was an awesome finish, that's for sure. Scorpion continues his good form. He's finished in 4th position, and during the Haas, he finished in 5th position. That's his best result, I believe, in this tier, or he might have got a 4th place, but nevertheless, again in the top 5. Made Showman finally scored some, good points from 15th on the grid. There was that incident with Matt Your Daddy, but I watched it a couple times, and I'm not so sure he actually touched Matt Your Daddy or not. But either way, that ended the Renault's race, and Made Showman finally finished in the points. Matt obviously half spun it from the lead, I believe, around Cops, was it?
Yeah,
and just recovered to score 7th, but obviously outscoring the Mercedes team. And did they out now? They didn't outscore McLaren. It'll be close between the two. We'll have to work it out. I think McLaren might have just outscored them as they move into 2nd, I believe, in the championship. But overall, another exciting race from the Pinnacle tier. Top tier, Prestige tier. Jesse took pole position. Great result for him. Most of the drivers on that soft compound of tyres. Julian in 2nd, Noik in 3rd. Extended, rejoining the league, and it was fantastic to see him back. So he was in 4th, and Rafa continues his good form in 5th. Blizzard down in 7th. We're going to speak to him in a bit with his teammate just behind. Odems was late to the session, but let's go on to lap 1, and it was definitely McSendit versus Julian as the race went on. You could see that battle was developing all the way through, and in the end it just came down, Jono, to a simple 1-lap undercut.
Yeah, so it was. There was so little between the two in pace. They were matching each other pretty much, weren't they, lap after lap? But yeah, the undercut worked its magic. Track position was crucial, and with them being so equal, that was it decided. And in the end, McSendit was able to just creep out the gap and do enough.
He definitely was, and takes the win on his return. Blizzard recovered to finish 2nd place, and Julian rounded out the top 3. Rafa took 4th, Noik in 5th position. His teammate Black Mamba had a race ban, which is why he wasn't taking part. Shout out to Ollie, points on his debut, and Praga in the Williams had a good scrap with his teammate early on, but unfortunately his teammate didn't finish the race. But again, Prestige tier delivered another exciting race. We missed qualifying on the stream, but we caught all the action live in the race, and Jono, the top boys putting on another good show as we'd expect.
Yeah, they did indeed. Julian on the podium once again. He's just Mr. Consistent, isn't he? He's just doing what he needs to do, and he's still only 3.5 seconds off the lead there in the end, in 3rd. But the top 3, although McSendit obviously new this season back in the league, but we all knew he'd be very, very quick. So not unexpected to see that top 3 on the podium in some order, and good drive from Blizzard to get it back up into P2, and it delivered a good race again, didn't it? Throughout the field, plenty of good racing all the way through.
Alrighty, well, first of all, I have to shout out to Scorpion for his massive assistance with changing all of our videos, over 150, I believe, previous streams, John, that we've done. and other sorts of videos. He managed to change all the names for us in one go with one app. So massive thank you to him, and congratulations on his result in the Pinnacle tier. Now let's get some drivers into the lobby. We're going to get Jamie from the Podium tier. We're going to get Don Court from the Pinnacle tier, and then we're going to have Blizzard from the Prestige tier. So let me get them invited now. Alrighty, as we wait for them to join our party, Jono, the steward's office is still open. Just wanna remind drivers, if they want to head over, what they need to do.
Yeah, you've got until midnight tonight to get over and submit your incident. Use the proper layout when you do so and provide the video evidence. We've got a few incidents in there already, and I know I've messaged a couple of people to respond if they've been called in by somebody else. So yeah, you've got until midnight tonight. We're back to normal this week, and results will be out as usual a bit later in the week on Tuesday.
Awesome stuff. Well, welcome to the late night talk show, Jamie, Don Call, and Blizzard. It's good to have you here, and we'll obviously chat to you all about not just Friday's races in Silverstone, but your season so far and what's to come. Jamie, we'll start with you in obviously the Podium tier. Talk to us about that battle with Buffy Dweller. Things got a bit heated, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Well, basically, I came out. I did the counter strategy because I qualified quite a bit down the grid. So I came out on soft tires, and he was like literally right ahead of me on mediums, and I was catching him, and then I think I overtook him lap 19, and then I was pulling away slowly but surely. But then my tires started to die off, and he sort of repassed me again. And then basically, I tried to get him back on the way everything straight, and well, on the loop before I went straight, and he sort of like pushed me off a little bit. I was a bit miffed. I mean, I was a bit miffed by that, and then I tried to pass it down the early to the straight, and I was even more miffed because I felt like I was starting to go alongside him. It felt like getting a bit of a squeeze, and then I got past him again, but then he passed me, and then it was a bit of a dirty battle, I think, but it is what it is. Yeah, and at the end, I just got frustrated, and I just dive bombed him twice, I think, and the second one I just misjudged it, and I sort of ended any chance of me scoring any points. But it wasn't a good race for me last Friday anyway.
Alrighty, and Don Call, I have to say, obviously you were on the waiting list. We got you into the Pinnacle tier. Perfect fit, no?
Yes, it's going really well so far this season. I've got 3 wins and 3 poles, so I'm really enjoying it at the moment.
Good stuff, and we're going to come back to the last race on the last lap in just a minute. Blizzard, welcome to the talk show. Good to have you here. One of the top guys on F1 2018. How'd you do it?
I don't know, really. It's about being consistent, which I don't have much in this league. It's clearly made that prominent in this, but it's just about practice, and that's all the time you want to practice. And if you don't practice, you're not going to be fast.
We've seen some storming qualifying laps from you this season. Do you kind of relish under that pressure when it's all on that one lap and you just know you've got it in you to deliver?
I mean, quali's always been my strong point ever since I started league racing. So it's always about pulling out a magical lap. Obviously, the race is more important at this point, but it still feels really good when you pull out a really good lap.
Definitely. All right, Jamie, you haven't made it onto that podium yet. You thought this could be your season. We know obviously you've had a few races where it could have been. Do you think it's still possible?
Not this season. No. I think my chances early on, and sort of the first 2, Australia and Bahrain, they weren't my fault, so I got taken out. But I think China, I could have won that race if I didn't get the jump start, because I was in the best. I was third in the grid on the best tyre for the race, but that was my fault. And I think now a lot of people have found a lot of pace recently, and I haven't. And I think So like next season, when some of these guys move up to the pinnacle tier, maybe that. I'll keep trying this season, of course, but I think if you give it out of 100, I'd say it's got a 10% chance this season. I need a lot of luck.
Alrighty, speaking of luck, Don Cole, let's talk about the last race. The safety car came out. Were you, as soon as it came out, were you decided that's it, I'm pitting, or was it kind of an instinct decision because you didn't have damage, did you?
Yes, I don't get damage, but it was strategy, just strategy.
Awesome, and obviously you went for the two stop, and it brought you into play the last few laps as you were chasing down Sam, and you finally got. Was there a point where you thought that you couldn't get him because you went ahead and then you went off at turn 2, wasn't it? And you let him back
Yes,
through.
yes.
Was there a point where you
Yeah,
thought, oh, I can't get him?
yes. At that moment when I went off, and then at that moment I thought, yes, I don't get him anymore because my tires were dirt, and I did got the grip at the moment. But yeah, the last lap I was close, so I could overtake him.
And how exciting do you find a race like that when how satisfying do you find it when you cross the line and obviously yourself and Sam are very evenly matched on pace and you were able to come out on top.
Yes, I'm really enjoying that, but I've got a lot of stress that last lap. So
Good stuff. Well, we all enjoyed watching it, so thanks for putting on a good show for us.
no
Blizzard,
problem.
let's talk about the prestige tier. You were tipped as a drivers' championship favorite early on. Do you think it's still possible?
Probably not. I mean, you never know. It could always happen. There's always enough points on offer to win until you're mathematically out of it. So it's possible, but I doubt it'll happen really. Junior's just too quick at the moment.
And what about the constructors? Is that something you and Josh think that you can pull out the bag with MLA seemingly not on the pace at the moment?
I think we can. I don't really know the championships actually, but I think we can get the constructors. We've showed pace the entire season, combining us, and I think as long as we can just pull it back in the last half of the season, which I prefer, then I think we can. Yeah.
Awesome. And in terms of your competition, obviously McSendit's rejoined the league for the last race. Are you enjoying the high competition that you've got?
Always. You don't want to just be dominating. You always want to have challenge. It's more fun that way.
And of the tracks remaining, you reckon you can get a few wins in?
Yes.
Awesome stuff. All right, Jamie, back to you. Before we've got a few minutes left, let's talk about. Obviously, you've spoken about Stevie and the Renault being one of your main rivals
Yeah.
this season. Do you see him as kind of the guy you want to beat over the next the last half of the season?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got slight lead over in the standings, and I would have beaten him this week, but I had that collision, which I only lost a point out to him, so I think we're very close. And also I think I'm pretty close to Razor as well, because I think me and him would have been pretty close as well, because I was catching him before the Drella thing. So I think me, Stevie, and Razor, I think that's sort of where my fight is now, and I think. And if anything happens ahead, which gives us a chance, then all three of us we've got to be ahead of each other to take it, I think.
Alrighty, Jono, you commentate on Don Cole's tier, the Pinnacle tier, every week. Do you have a question for the championship contender?
Yeah, I have. Obviously, it's pretty difficult to criticise your performances. They've been pretty awesome since you've come in. But we have mentioned in commentary the couple of races you haven't won. It's looked sometimes like you've perhaps dropped off towards the end of the stints. We questioned whether perhaps tyre wear was affecting you more than some of your rivals. Is that the case, or was it something else?
Yes, it was a little bit set-wise. My tire wear was really bad on these races, but it's a little bit weird because every time when I get pole, I don't win the race. But when I don't get pole, I win the race. So it's yeah.
So no more pole
Maybe you're not
positions,
too
no?
disappointed winning this pole, yeah.
So next round, you know what to do.
That's it. Do you think both the drivers and constructors championships are on the cards for you this season? There's obviously, a lot of races left on the calendar, a lot of points.
Yes, of course, but if Sam is doing what he's doing at the moment, then I don't think that I can win the championship. But if he going taking out or somebody, yes, then of course. But constructor-wise, I think I can win it with my teammate.
Awesome stuff. And just quickly, obviously, I don't know if you race in any other leagues, but what are your thoughts on this league of One Hub Racing since you've joined?
It's a really good league because of the talk show, the commentary on the races. And my other league, it is a no assist league, but I don't got that competition there. I fight with one driver for the win, and here I'm driving with 4 drivers.
Awesome stuff. Blizzard, back to you. Obviously, you're part of the the team VSR. How much do you think an esports team like that has helped you develop into the driver that you are today?
I mean, I think it helps because you can get motivation from all the people around you in the team, and when they tell you the laps they're doing with like less assists and stuff, you want to turn them off, and it helps, and they can give you tips and stuff, when you do turn them off. So
awesome. Do you guys talk about share setup information and things like that ahead of races if you're say struggling or something?
Yes.
And lastly,
Can I
Blizzard.
just come in with a quick question for Blizzard as well?
Yeah, of course, go for it, Jono.
You mentioned earlier that obviously he's got a reputation as being one of, if not the quickest driver out there, but yet he finds himself quite a way behind Julian in the championship at the moment. Do you think that's just down to, obviously, the race haven't gone as well for you, but is that down to just bad luck, do you think, or is Julian doing something better than you in the races, something you can improve on? Where do you think it's been slipping away slightly?
no, I think it's a combination of bad luck and my end of the stints aren't very good either. I normally overheat the tyres a bit too much.
Blizzard
Okay.
we'll have to mention if we don't talk about Odems, he'll get upset. So just a quick word on Odems. Obviously he's a character not just in this league but across the F1 community. So just a few words about him so that he doesn't get upset.
Famous for TikTok, not bend commenting.
Good stuff. Alrighty guys. Don Cool. Scorpion wants to know, how are you so damn fast?
I don't know. I'm not the fastest one from this whole league because I'm not in the prestige tier. But I don't know. I don't know.
Sam, your rival, wants to know, do you forgive him for the contact at turn 1 on Friday since you still won?
I forgive him because I win.
Alrighty, and last one from Sam as well. He wants to know, what's your strongest track that we've got left on the calendar?
Hungary, Singapore, Brazil.
There you go, Sam. You best start practicing those 3.
And Germany as well.
And Germany as well. So yeah, there you go, Sam. You got your answer in 4. But guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Best of luck next week as we head to Germany. Always a fantastic race around the Hockenheim track. So hope you all do well. And of course, we'll be live for the podium tier at 7 p.m, Pinnacle tier at 8 p.m, and the Prestige tier at 9 p.m. So best of luck to all the drivers taking part. Thank you all for watching. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to commentate on Silverstone's races. So from myself, Jono, and the guys here, enjoy your week, and we'll see you on Friday. This is One Hub Racing. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Thank you.